Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Club Racing UK podcast, episode 5 of season 3 of our New Look podcast show. Good evening, everyone. Now, a little bit of a different change this evening. As you can see, we haven't brought the guests up yet because the three of us are going to chat shit for about 20 minutes to half an hour, then bring the guests in to talk about the good stuff. And we have got a great show for you tonight. We've got the award-winning director, Darren S. Cook, is coming onto the show. If you haven't seen Lucas and Albert, get your ass onto Amazon Prime and watch it. It's a great film to watch. He's going to come on and talk about Stefan and Nick's new project, which is Rags to Racetrack, the tragic story of someone who was alone sleeping on the streets, and he comes up to become the epic club racer and wins a C1 race. Is that right? No? Okay.
No, very wrong. Very wrong.
Very wrong.
We'll find out later on about it. So we'll start off, obviously, I've got to introduce the dynamic duo that is Stefan Marsh and Nick Holmes. Good evening, gents.
Evening. How's everyone?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, viewers.
Evening, viewers. Well, they have started already. Matt Cleary is eating ice cream, waiting for it to start. Nick is eating pizza. We've got to start, Nick. What flavour?
Ice cream.
It is double pepperoni on a tiger bread base. Really nice.
Nice. Matt,
Jesus.
what flavour ice cream are you eating?
Being washed down with Rattler cider.
Superb. Yes, Matt Cleary, do comment in, bud, what flavour ice cream you're eating. Cam Tunio, evening.
Hey, we know that guy.
We
know
do.
that guy.
We do. I believe you guys spent quite a bit of time with Colin McRae this weekend.
We still owe that guy some stickers.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Vicky Pratt is watching from the other room of one of our guests tonight. Stuart Waits joins us as well. Sam Pearce joins us this evening as well. He says Tiger Bread base is quite powerful. Has it got a bit of a tang to it, Nick?
It's gorgeous. Lovely. Really good. Highly recommended.
Jonathan Bevan, another regular, joins us this evening. Right, guys, now, before I start with any of the news roundup, anything like that, 2 hours ago, the news hit us. Kimi Räikkönen is retiring. What do you think?
And he's old.
I mean, he's a legend, isn't he?
I was going to say...
You're going to miss his comments.
Exactly. I'm not going to miss his racing. I'm going to miss the press conferences.
He's a funny guy.
That's to make a move to make room for George somehow, don't they?
What, you really think he's going to Alfa Romeo?
No, Bottas to Alfa. Bottas are off to Alfa.
Mercedes.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's be honest. I think his number's done. Anyway.
I think it's confirmed already.
Is it confirmed already?
I think so.
No, Monza.
Oh, you reckon Monza? Okay.
Apparently Monza is going to be...
Alex Bohm joins us this evening. Neil Ashcroft as well. Good evening, guys.
Evening all.
Paul Dolans as well. How do to you as well, Paul? Right, I think it's time for a bit of news and roundup.
Hey, I like that one. That's good.
Fair play. That is good. I have made it a bit longer than usual. I might have to trim that down a little bit. But yes,
that works well.
We are adjusting the video somehow. I think the wee one got a little bit stale in the two, so we've moved on with it. We're going to start off with.
It was funny once.
It was funny 2 or 3 times, to be honest. And let's be honest, anything to do with Nick being impotent or not being able to wee properly because he's so fucking old is just brilliant. Right. It's
not because I'm old. It was a nervous wee in the holding area. We all have them.
Right. Let's talk about Alton. Let's start with the positive, shall we? We'll start with the mini. Stefan, did you finish?
We finished. Did finish.
Yay! Where's me party popper?
We can confirm that the mini finished.
The mini did finish a race. It was cut short by 6 minutes, but it did finish the race.
It wouldn't have done it.
I'll be
honest. Who knows what would have happened in the last 6 minutes, but who cares?
Yes. Well, you did find out that it was a bit marginal, wasn't it? Have you still got the same sort of underlying issue with the pulley, or?
Yes, we just increase the duration that it takes for it to fail. So,
No,
silver linings and all that.
Silver linings. It's one of those. Just get the engineering tools out and get onto it. But I mean, it was quite difficult conditions at the weekend. But how did you find it?
Oh, it was horrendous. It was very, very wet. The car. I mean, I've never taken it around Alton. I've driven around Alton in the wet in the KA, but obviously the Mini is completely different. So it was all a big learning curve. And I think in qualifying, I only actually managed to do one flying lap, so I didn't really get a lot of learning in qualifying either. But to be fair, there's quite a bit of grip out there. It was a bit drier in my stint, but it was still very wet. But I think it's one of those things in your head before you go out in a wet race. Like, it's just mindset is it's going to be wet. It's going to be horrible. Yeah. But it's amazing how much grip you can find.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, Steph, I mean, I was spectating up at Cascades. We'll come to why in a minute. But the Mini did look well planted, especially coming up to Cascades and down and through round to the back of the circuit, especially later on into your stint. So it was quite impressive. Yeah,
and we can only thank Chris for all that. Well, actually, because we did a test day a week before, and Brands Hatch was baking, and obviously we had supercharger belt issues as standard, but we were going around and it felt all right. We had a lot of understeer, and then Chris rocked up and then worked his magic in about 2 minutes and proper refined that out, so it was running a lot better. But then obviously it was soaking wet, so everything Chris did we had to reverse for Alton. So, but it still went really well.
Super. I mean, walking through the paddock on fire. I mean, Sam Pearce has just come up with comment of the podcast. Racing is a lot like women, wetter the better. You would know, Sam, but we will come on to that. Neil Ashcroft, if the Mini can't reach the finish, bring the finish to the Mini. Good plan.
Yeah,
I like that. Ian Waterhouse of My Supercar joins us this evening. Good evening, Mr. Waterhouse. And Paul Harvey of Icon Events and many other club racing ventures. Good evening, Paul.
Have you seen the little message from our award-winning producer, Rob?
I have. He's got, bless him, we love Darren Escott. Look at that. He's gone for a coffee. He's back in 5. And he's got the devils. Oh, Darren Cook, we absolutely love you, man. Right, and how did you get on in the Enduro KA?
Not great. It went well. Qualifying was all right. I can't remember we qualified. It wasn't too bad for... I mean, the problem was it's the first time we've run 2 cars in one event, and it was extremely, extremely chaotic. There was no time to do sod all, so the KA in qualifying pretty much went out probably not quite set up for the weather.
Okay.
So we kind of struggled to get, Matt definitely struggled to get it around, and then we managed to soften it up and change the pressures a bit for when I went out. But again, you're jumping straight from the Mini into that. It's another learning game.
Yeah, and especially with the layout of the day, wasn't it? It was literally bang, one session to one session.
Yeah, there was no time for nothing. So qualifying wasn't too bad. I can't remember where we were. I think it was 14th or something like that. The race wasn't going too bad. It was probably on for a top 10, which is roughly where we're looking these days, because not getting into it too much, but the top end of the field are extremely fast. Somehow, I don't know whether it's the fact you can use different tyres these days, or
turbos.
People have been tweaking a bit too much, but we won't dive into that too far. But they're extremely quick up there, so we were never going to be on pace for them. But then Matt had a bit of an incident, which punctured the front right. He couldn't get it back, so then we had to wait 20 minutes for the recovery truck to then bring it back. Chucked a new wheel on it, and then I went out. But obviously you get, I think, I can't remember what it is, 5 or 10 lap penalty, I think, for being recovered.
Yeah, something like that.
Puts back further. So I think in the end we finished second from last, but we did finish at the end of the day. So that's the main thing. The track dried out towards the end, and to be fair, I'm pretty glad that it was a wet race to begin with, because in the final hour I managed to destroy 2 front tyres, delaminated them both. So if I'd had that for a whole race, we would have been going through tyres for fun.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Bevan shares your sympathies on the tyre war currently raging with the KOs, with Yoko's against a Triple Eight. Harry Harley.
We did talk to him about it at the weekend, actually. We were very lucky to be blessed by Mr. Bevan Brands weekend, which is good.
As always. Well, you go to Brands Hatch, you're always blessed with him. He lives there.
Yeah, more or less. I was going to say he's that's his second home. So, and any day that you get to have a chat with Jonathan Bevan's always a good day. What can I say?
Yeah. I said this to Steph on the way home. I was like, I don't think I'd ever get bored talking to that guy.
He's certainly got some good stories to tell, hasn't he? But Steph, you've got a summary video with a mini, haven't you?
Yeah, I've just got. I think it's a couple of minutes of the highlight show, so I'll bang that on. We can all have a little look.
Right, stop. Stop right now.
Page through the whole way through. That's funny.
Stop right now. Stop. I'm sorry. You boys told me that the race start was awful. You didn't tell me it was that bad.
It was shocking. That was
Jesus
shocking.
Christ. You may as well have been in reverse.
It's horrendous.
The bit that did make me chuckle.
Sideways, boys. That was awful.
The bit that made me chuckle about that video was the clip with the Z4 sideways in front of you. Or where we were at Cascades, there was quite a lot of people, and we watched this car go sideways, and everyone was like, shit, and just watched you go by like, it was a crowd reaction. It was quite funny. It was quite funny. Stu Way, if in doubt, power out, except off the start, it would appear, Steph.
I don't know. Matt was driving. The problem is it's supercharged, isn't it? So it's instant power. So it's kind of like as soon as you touch the throttle and it spins, it just goes.
No. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know that Matt doesn't watch this show, so it doesn't really matter what I say. But Matt, that's the worst fucking race start I've ever seen.
I think we should watch it again.
Did he grab fourth instead of second?
I'm pretty sure he missed the lights, and then for some reason he had it on the hydro brake, so then you had to turn it, which is obviously quite stiff because he wouldn't have had his foot on the brake, so he had to and then just bang the clutch out and spun out.
Hang on. Just trying to see what
That's not an excuse. I'm telling you what happened.
Hang on. I'll have to get volume 2.
So, for the record, I was going to say a bit later on the show that we're going to be announcing a Club Racing UK Awards ceremony. But I think hands down right now, Matt's just won Worst Start of the Year award.
Oh, bless. Right. I've seen a comment here from Harry Harleyhead Townsend. Let's be honest, this is something way above club level that everyone's talking about at the moment. We're not going to get into that incident at Brands tonight. Sorry,
Not
but
a chance.
Not a chance. Not getting into it. It's
the only thing we will say about that is it affected the club level stuff. Obviously, but we'll cover that race meeting later. But yeah, we're not talking that.
No, that's fair enough. Right, I suppose we move on to my wheelie good weekend, or rather, not a wheelie good weekend.
Can I just say, James, this all seems to have gone to pot since I've stopped coming out racing with you boys. What's going on?
What, in my car?
Well, do I have to come back and sort you lot out? Because I don't come for a couple of events and it's all gone to pot.
No, it must be the car falling apart.
You've never helped with the Mini, Nick, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, and you kind of turned up and drove the Focus and got hit by a Clio and was tapping Porsches and...
Fucking wheel didn't fall off though, did it?
No, it didn't. I mean, to be honest, we're still looking into it.
Crashed into a pit wall either.
Oh, poor AJ. I mean, it did start. The rain was torrential. The one thing I will say, I poured about half a pint of water out of the starter wiper motor itself. The actual unit, I poured it was full of water. So that shorted out.
Left out the rain then.
Well, it was intermittent. I've replaced the seals in the actual shaft that goes into the motor. There's a couple of O-rings in there that have gone bad, was letting water in. So I've sorted that out. Natalie Marsh seems to agree with you, Natalie. Don't you bloody start. But yeah.
What's she saying that's for, though?
I think it's...
I just like the fact that your missus saying, yes, Nick.
She always says that.
We'll move on from that right away. So, yeah, poor AJ went out. His first race meeting.
It's not the first time. Don't worry.
AJ Howe's first race meeting. Couldn't see where he was going. I said, look, he came into the pits. I said, look, we haven't got any time. Just try and get out. Do your 3 laps. Intermittent wipers, and coming into the pit lane, he couldn't see where he was going and clipped the Armco. So there's a bit of damage there, which I've subsequently repaired. He's also buying me a new wing mirror, which he has to sign. And then come towards the end of the session, I felt quite a bad vibration through the steering wheel that was getting worse and worse. To be honest, I thought I had a puncture. Quite a bad sound as well. Got to the shell oils hairpin and bang, wheel goes off left and I pull off onto the grass. Which we actually have a clip of, if you can just whack it up, Steph. Somewhere.
So we have a clip. You can't see sod all.
Yeah, so that was the various noises I was hearing inside the cockpit. So the wheel flew off. So we damaged a brake disc, several brackets, twisted the caliper. So we're re-engineering everything. Unfortunately, it caused enough damage. We couldn't align the brakes up safely enough to let us race. So we decided on safety reasons to pull out.
Such a child, mate.
Basically, I will put it. I'm going to say it here and now. My pull-out game is better than Nick's.
Oh.
You're not wrong there.
Exactly. So, Sheza, that view, that's what babies see in the sack before birth. It was wet. It was wet. I will say as well, it was so wet. There was so much water actually got into the car as well, with all the standing water and everything, just getting into various orifices. When I opened the door, the water that was inside the car and going up against the exhaust tunnel was steaming up, which is probably why we coated the windows in Rain X and Fog X, but it just Oh no, that was the last incident. But yes, unfortunately,
that's just each other.
Yeah, you always cover yourself in oil on a race weekend. What are you on about?
Baby oil, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good bit of baby oil.
And Mr. Boyman.
I know, and so unfortunately, I turfed up half of Alton Park, which I'm waiting for the invoice from Mr. Palmer. I've got to give a shout out to Nathan here as well, and Phil Neal, everyone. We all work like a trooper, just trying to get the car back together and get it out for the race. It just wasn't to be, unfortunately. But the one thing I will say, I put a post out yesterday. Icon events have been superb. We've had a bit of bad luck. I need to go out and get some race mileage under my belt and just get the confidence back. So we're entered in the modified Fords round as part of Full Power Live in a couple of weeks. If you haven't had a chance to look at the modified Fords, you are going to be astounded. There are 65 cars entered over 2 grids.
Wow.
Mental cars, apart from Rob's.
Yeah. But at least it isn't a Mini that sounds like R2-D2. So and there's another moody picture there, which kind of sums up the weekend, if I'm honest. So yes, the plan is 2 weeks. We'll be back.
It doesn't, because it's got 4 wheels on it.
Well, yeah. We will be back fighting fit and trying to get some race results under the belts and finishes and just get the confidence up.
At the end of the day, boys, isn't it? This shit happens.
Yeah,
you can't always have sunny weekends.
Yeah, we always said from the start it was a year of learning. I guess with you guys, Steph, it's the same with the Mini. It's your first year competing with it. It's the first year for me with all the odds and ends that I put on the car since running it pretty much standard. And Neil Ashcroft agrees the modified Ford grids are a sight to behold. Well, Neil, if you can, get down to Full Power Live, because there's 4 races on the Sunday and they prove to be absolutely mega. Sam Pearce, not Rob's, his pull-out game is strong too. See, he agrees, Nick.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, that was my weekend cut short there, chaps, but we'll be back fighting fit, hopefully, soon. Cy Shezza, Rain Rocks. Well, I'm glad you said that. That's going to be the sort of title of the show. Well, Steph doesn't agree, but there's a lot of drivers out there. When it rains, you can just see how good they are. You can really see.
I love a wet race.
Exactly.
It's challenging in a different way, but then I don't get the adrenaline rush like I do in the dry.
Really?
Because you're not on the limit. You don't feel the limit. If you're on the limit, you're just sliding. You're not on the limited grip.
Right, carrying on with the news. This is one of personal pride, and I hope Nick agrees with me. So a few years ago, when I was putting engine quotes together for various engine builders, we went up to a little estate just outside Bromsgrove, and they were actually one of the first companies to get involved with Club Racing UK, were they not?
They were.
And that's MJ Automotive Race Engines. Well, they've just had the British Motor Show at Farnborough, and there's a sense of pride seeing this. So this is Andrew up on the stage with Fuzz Townsend, Tim Shaw of Car SOS. They were on the main stage with National Geographic. Of course, they do a lot of work with the show. There's Andrew there with Tim Shaw, as everyone would know from his 5th gear days as well. They had their own stand.
Yeah, that's mega. I love those guys. Such a great family and a great bunch of guys.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Andrew said he was going to tune in tonight, so really proud of you, mate. The business has grown so much in the past few years, and it's great to see him and Martin and Jane and Katie and Aaron and everyone in the family doing fantastic, and we'll be up to visit you again soon. Another company there as well were Rocked It. They've just released their new bags. If you don't look at that and
beautiful
think...
kit bags.
Yeah, if you look at one of those and think, I don't need one for my race kit, you need to be sectioned.
Yeah. Well, it's true, isn't it? I mean, come on. We look after, safety is paramount in motorsport.
Yeah.
And then how many times are you in a paddock or you're in the garages or even out wherever, and you just see everyone's race gear just spewed everywhere, like just chucked in a corner, helmet on the floor, all that jazz. So it's bloody stupid. It's the stuff you wear to keep yourself safe. So why wouldn't you want to put it in and let's be quite honest, a very, very well priced, well thought about kit bag? It's brilliant.
There we go. So get yourself onto the Rock Tip page there and inquire about one of those kit bags, and Nick Underwood will sort you out. A bit of an ambassador alert as well. Amelia Vincent was out on Monday in the Castle Kit. That was a very long introduction to the ambassadors. I was not expecting that.
Every time you mention ambassadors, that video comes on.
That's damn right they are.
Yeah,
Darren
somebody
put a lot of
forgot to
effort into
tell me
that.
about
We have to use it to its maximum potential at all
I
times.
do have to, but please tell me next time because I shit myself when that happened.
As soon as you say ambassador, the video comes up.
Okay, hold on. Wait for it. Let's just test that theory. Ambassador. Yeah, I like it.
Slick. I like that. So Amelia Vincent was out in Castle Combe Hot Hatch. She's doing really well, bless her. For a car that's a 1.4, she's really putting in some great lap times. You know, putting her absolute heart and soul into it. All those names have donated to Julia's Hospice, who she's doing a lot of work with as well.
I like the bottom right one.
Julia's House, local company, local charity for us down in Tool.
Superb.
Brilliant.
Superb. So, yes, Amelia, well done, mate.
Right.
Keep up the good work, and we'll hopefully see you back out soon. I think she's got two or three events left, or maybe less than that. I'm not sure. Right, Si Shezza, what's wrong with a bag for life? Roy Cropper Motorsport. I don't think Tesco really gives off the right vibe for your race kit. I don't know.
Club level racing on a budget right there.
Nick?
For the record, other superstores are available.
Oh, fuck off, Nick. Nick, it's not the BBC. I'll say what the hell I want. Yes, other companies are available, but I chose Tesco. Waitrose can fuck themselves. Sam Pearce, does it work?
To be fair, if it's club level, it's probably Aldi's or Lidl, isn't it? Let's be fair.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't work.
You haven't got the power, Sam, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Sam doesn't have the power.
No,
sorry,
but Sam. The one thing I will say for Sam, as soon as it's wet, he has the power because he can win in the wet. He can win in the wet, certainly. Right, the one thing I marvelled at on Monday as well, while the qualifying was going on. Yeah, says you, Nicholas. Civic Cup at Donington on Monday. I don't know about you guys, but I was watching some of the live stream. It was the most entertaining racing going on, and that series is probably one of the best one-make series you can go to if you want to progress or just be part of a top-line one-make series.
Do you know why that is?
Why?
Because they're all Honda Civics and they're fantastic cars.
That is very, very true. As we all know, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag Nick Holmes loves an EP3. He just does.
My offer still stands, by the way. If anyone's got an EP3 and I want to swap it for a Mini, let me know.
Cool.
A race finishing Mini.
Oh, yeah, not a road one. No.
It's a race finishing.
I don't want to have to build one.
A race finishing Mini. It does have quite a comprehensive spares package, including about 9 pulleys, 10 auxiliary belts, 2 superchargers. Same as mine, really. I've got a shitload of wheel studs now for whatever reason. Anyway, Jonathan Bevan, first win for Bourne HPP engine in the Civic Cup. That was very good as well. I'm trying to remember. Was it Mr. Sharp that won as well? Si Shezza, Civics are dripping by Muppets. He loves it. He loves it. Oh, lads, it's happened. We've got the first one. A Facebook user has joined us.
Yes, Facebook user.
Yes. Facebook user. Get yourself on the Club Racing UK Facebook page and re-comment, and we know who we're talking to. But we can talk.
I don't know why it does that with StreamYard. It's a pain in the arse. But yeah, if you can, get yourself to the Club Racing UK main page. AJ Owen, does it come with a lifetime supply of pulleys?
I'm not paying for them all, no. They're expensive.
He's trying to palm it off on someone so he doesn't have to buy
three. You can have three.
Yeah. It was Mr. Sharp, and he didn't cry in the interview. Oh, Neil, that was a bit savage, wasn't it? There's nothing wrong with crying in an interview unless it's a police interview. Anyway. Exactly. Right, just to tell you quickly, I'm sure Jamie Peter Ennis is watching. I went to the Fun Cup weekend for the BRSCC. I was there doing other things, actually. I was passing on a rite of passage that was performed both to myself and to Nick Holmes. I was showing Phil Neal the penis. Our good friend Phil at Solar Motorsport, it was his first, what we would call a tin top race. It was a circuit race. He's used to do a time attack. He was out with the modified Fords, and we had a great weekend up at Alton Park. So it was a one-day event, some fantastic cars out, of course, with the modified Fords and the City Car Cup. They were just as chaotic as the C1s and the KAs, including one that rolled in testing on Friday.
Yay!
out of the shell oils hairpin, up onto the grass, into the barrier, and tumble dry.
Excellent.
But moments of the weekend would be during one of the races where Paul Neville collectively crapped himself at Cascades and turned full Harry Vatter.
No!
And I will tell you one thing, lads. I'll tell you one thing. He kept his foot in. He kept his foot in and drifted that thing through the gravel, out the other side, and then kept going. If that's not a stylish Mark II Escort...
Went rallying for a bit.
Yeah.
Many poos would have shot out of my bum if I tried that.
Many poos. Ashley Shellswell was out in his Sierra. One of our regular listeners, Ashley. He got driver of the day, I believe. He was monumental in the Sierra that weekend as well. And we had some other top-class racing up and down the field with the various escorts and the one yellow Focus. And Phil, bless him, I've got to give a shout out to him. He's got 140 horsepower. He's a bit of a sitting duck, but he gave it his all. He didn't finish last in any of the races. He was giving it absolutely everything, no power. He just fully bloody sent it. So well done, mate, if you are watching. And we'll be out at Full Power Live. Yes, Nick.
Did his wheel fall off?
No.
Okay, so he did better than you then.
He did better than me that weekend, yeah. His wheel stayed on, you prick. But I was going to make a comment about driving Mercedes, but I'll leave that there.
You can comment you can comment away. All I know is even after what happened, I still had four wheels on that car.
that is a very good point. I'm
albeit none of them turned.
No suspension, still four wheels.
The suspension was in the New Forest somewhere.
And there's a picture of couple. I mean, to be fair to her, I've got to give the BRSCC Laura Payne. It's not Laura Payne, is it? It's Close Racing. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've forgotten the name. Lindsay, that's it. Lindsay Close. Lindsay Close. I mean, the City Car Cup. It was a well turned out, well presented grid, and the racing was absolutely fun to watch. It's a single make race. It's single make race series. Well, it's not. It's three makes, but they're all exactly the same car. Yeah, same chassis.
It's always going to be good. It's always going to be good.
Yeah.
When you got level playing cars, it's always going to be good. Like we were saying earlier, the Civic Cup. You said it's the most entertaining race you saw. It's all, they're all roughly the same car. Well, they're all the same car.
Yeah,
so,
I think
cracking racing.
Just seeing the comment here from Neil Ashcroft. He's obviously referring back to Mr. Sharp not crying in the interview. So obviously he did give quite an impassioned interview afterwards, and he has done in the past. And that's one thing you can't neglect club racers for. The passion is there. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. Simple as.
No, absolutely not.
Megan Edwards. She's received one of these.
Yay!
Superb to see as well.
Hope
so
well,
yes,
Megan.
Another shameless plug. If you have got 18 quid to spare, all proceeds go towards the Marshall's Fund. Get yourself an Orange Army t-shirt. Get yourself onto the Club Racing UK website. I'm sure. I'll take it. There's still plenty.
Do a buy. They've gone down really well, actually. Really, really well. It's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Right, so that rounds up the news roundup for this week. To be honest, I wanted to put a load more in there, but we have got quite a packed show tonight with our two amazing guests, and I hope Darren's ready because we're going to talk. We're going to talk.
Where's the guest? Where are they, Rob?
We aren't going to bring him in yet because I want to talk about Drive to Rags to Riches to Scruffy Bear to Survive. It's a working title, I guess. So, Stefan, I'm going to bring in, ladies and gentlemen, award-winning director Darren S. Cook. So, guys,
we needed some music for that.
Quite correct, Rob. Award-winning.
Award-winning. I'm salvaging my inner Jonathan Ross.
You carry on, mate.
So, guys, tell us about Rags to Riches to Drive to Survive to Scruffy Bear.
Shut up! Say it right, you knob.
I'll be in my trailer.
Tell you what, Nicholas, you tell me how it should be pronounced.
Well, so we came up with a cracking idea, I believe, that we should do a Drive to Survive style documentary / series / whatever. For club racing, really. And we thought none other than this gentleman here, this side over here, award-winning director, would be the perfect guy to help us achieve this show. So, yeah, we're really looking forward to this. It's probably the most excited I've been for a project for club racing. Yeah, cannot wait. It's going to be great.
Okay, so the three of you had a day out at Madame Tussauds recently and popped a Brands Hatch on the way. Look at those fine specimens there. Absolutely.
God damn. That there, right there, is Mr. September in this calendar, isn't it?
Absolute. So Darren and Nick fluffing about with cameras there. So tell us about your day at Brands Hatch. You filmed episode 1.
No, it's not. Well, it's kind of episode 1. It's more of a pilot. So we're doing a pilot episode first, okay. Which we will then use to gain the figures and stuff. And then the real episode 1 will start shortly for next year.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Darren can explain
pretty much
more.
to gauge like how we came across on camera, what we could generate, the interest, trying to get an idea of what people who do the sport want to know more about, and people who want to get into the sport want to know how to do it, the way to do it. It's pretty much behind the scenes of like your low end teams, your grassroots drivers, your people who do this as a passion, as a hobby. And it was getting as many different variations of what British motorsport is all about, which takes you all the way up to the bigger races, like your endurance races, your Brit cars, your British GTs, your GT Cups, everything there. That we all start somewhere, and it's how much it affects people's lives, their jobs, their families. You know, their highs, their proper lows. And I think we definitely saw that over the weekend, didn't we? How much emotion and how much frustration people go through.
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what? It wasn't the best thing about it was, like, I'm going to say this now, and obviously we're going to be biased towards our own show, but we picked a random select group of drivers, whoever was up for it, who put their hands up, was like, hey, come and see how my weekend goes. And honestly, I don't think we could have got any further apart on the spectrum of the highs and lows, could we? Like,
no.
I don't know. Are we going into details, or are we going to wait until the show drops, or what? I mean, let's just say there was definitely a first in there that I've never witnessed in my history of being in club motorsport. You know, the fact that we then had, we got to speak to Chichester College and the guys there.
Yeah, they were awesome. They were
fantastic bunch of guys, albeit
squirrels.
Not necessarily squirrels, not necessarily the weekend they wanted. And then obviously we were, I'm going to say it, we were absolutely blessed to be, we had the hospitality from Cam and the Snodhurst racing team. And I'm going to put it down now. Again, going back to our awards ceremony we're going to do, we're going to go for nicest paddock team going. I think they've already won it as well, because it was really great, because we were there anyway for Cam, weren't we? Because obviously he was our race entry. He was our race entry competition winner. So as a result, he got us tickets to come and watch him race for the event that he picked. And wow, let's just say it went tip top, I'd say.
Yeah,
with some very cinematic photos along the way, some cracking bacon rolls, ice creams, you name it. It was on shows. It was fantastic.
That's a good point here. Really good point here from Stu Waite. Who's playing Gunter Steiner?
Wouldn't you like to fucking know?
Like it, but I mean, who knows if there is a character out in the club racing scene that is like Gunter Steiner, then
Find them.
Let us know.
There was such a variety of cars as well, there wasn't there? Like there was every single kind of car you would want to see there. There was escorts, there was Corvettes, and you take away from the GTs that were racing around there. There was some absolutely stunning cars going around there.
Honestly,
do
you know what, right? Again, and I know I said it over the weekend, and you guys can vouch for it as well. Like we've spoken briefly about the awards that we're going to hopefully host, and we were saying, hands down, so far the modified Fords seem to have got it. I don't know. I think they got a fight on their hands with that mod saloons. That was a
good grid.
Yeah,
special saloons from the CSCC. I'll tell you something. Those boys, you can see why they're so popular. Not just that group of cars. I mean, the whole weekend that they put on was fantastic. But I think modified Fords have got a fight on their hands for this one, because that was a amazing looking grid. Looking grid.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was quite a poignant weekend for those guys as well, with the tribute races to Rick. Oh, we did cover it in the podcast last year. Sadly, we lost Rick Parker Morris to COVID. So, and his car was there. I was watching obviously you guys were at Brands, but I was watching the live stream while working on the car, and it was, you did get a bit choked up seeing his car out there and all his family, seeing everything go wrong. And certainly it's a very special grid of cars. That very special grid, recreating those monsters of the 80s.
Yeah, just everything in there. There's no way that there wasn't. I mean, I don't know why. I was absolutely fixated on the Citroen BX that was there. There's every type of car going, but I was absolutely obsessed with that thing. But like I say, Corvette,
you say that because.
Escort I think they had, I can't remember what they are, the Prod Saloon Cavaliers, Prod Saloon Ford Mondeo in the old Valvoline colours. Oh man, honestly,
it's a unique club, the CSCC. There's more or less a championship that any car can fit into and fit in well.
Did make for some spectacular video recording.
Some really good battles going on. Following Cam as well, seeing Cam go from where he was all the way up, it was just amazing watching him race. He was on it the whole time he was in that car.
Full send, that lad.
Oh yeah, definitely full send. He channeled his inner Conor McRae a few times, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was
I think that was more qualifying, I think. But
I'm going to say it. Obviously, it was really nice, actually. Chris Dawes said it on the commentary for us. You cut us lot in half, and it'll have club racing in the middle of it. Yeah. Obviously, it's what we're passionate about. It's the reason we do what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I did not bat one single eye about the GT stuff that was on. Don't get me wrong.
No.
The GT3 cars sounded amazing. They were very pretty to watch. But I didn't give a toss about them, because I just wanted to see all the club stuff.
Yeah.
It was really
it was sad as well what we saw happen when the GT race finished. Like we watched literally an exodus of people go. Yeah, there was still a load of club racing to go on afterwards, and you watch them going, where are you going? There's some really good racing going to be happening now, and it's just really sad that the GT, we finish racing, that's it, that's the end of your day. You've paid a ticket, sit there and watch some amazing, some really good. The caterings went out straight away. Can you imagine?
Yeah, it was a magnificent sevens afterwards.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
can you imagine how despondent that is for a driver to get out there and just see these people leaving? Like you're in the car going,
we did say we were going to mention
what did I do? And it's a shame. It's an absolute shame. They missed some classic racing.
For the record, that is not to be discouraged from, the CSCC and the guys that were racing. That's purely obviously the fans came to Brands to watch the GT stuff. Yeah, obviously, as we were saying, we were pretty amazed. It was awesome, the crowds that were there.
Yeah,
but it was a real shame to see these guys. But then this is why me and Steph and even Rob and stuff like that were saying that we need to push this club level stuff to the fans, because you get it with BTCC, don't you? People go to watch the British touring cars.
Yep.
And then when you got like the Mini Miglias on supporting them or other race series supporting them.
You say that, Nick. Prime example. I mean, I don't know if you've caught up on it yet, but most of the talking last weekend wasn't about the touring cars. It wasn't about the Porsches. It was about the Mini Challenge Trophy, the small Cooper class.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gone up a bit because it's on the Toka package, but it is purebred club motorsport.
Yeah.
There's something special about it.
I still maintain that club level racing, is some of the best racing you'll ever find.
Yeah, 100%.
And as to be fair, going back to, I saw the comment pop up, but I've seen it's disappeared now. Jonathan Bevan said the GT racing was boring. It was. There wasn't a single overtake.
Yeah, we were watching go up to Druids, weren't we? Just all in the train.
Yeah,
every single time.
Train,
no attacks, no fights, no nothing.
Well, that's the problem with GT3. There's too much bloody aero, and then when they catch up to a back marker, they bloody trip over him.
Yeah.
And that's, again, it's not about the fantastic overtake. It's not about the battle to the flag. It's about the fact Jonathan Bevan knocked it on the head. It was a procession. I got bored of the live stream to a point. I switched the live stream off for the GTs, noted what time the CSCC were on while it was in the garage, noted what time the CSCC was on, so I set a reminder for that, and just put some old supercars races on, because I couldn't be asked to watch that while I was working away. There's no bloody point. It's not a spectator sport.
To be fair, for anyone listening, obviously we're going to be biased towards the club level stuff. But honestly, if you had someone that was, so if you got someone who was completely neutral, sat them down and showed them the GT stuff and the stuff that the CSCC put on, night and day, club stuff, night and day. There's so much. There was passing, there was overtaking, there was incidents. It was just, honestly, it was, really, really impressed with that.
That's why we're creating this film with Darren for Rags to Racetrack to show everyone in a different way the excitement, the passion, the grit, the determination for everyone to go racing. But also
I'll tell you what,
Steph,
you've got you've got a good preview clip there to show some people.
Yeah, but I'll show it in a minute. But it's also about trying to help and try and encourage other people that want to race. And you can see this program boom. But if you watch Drive to Survive, you know it's not a realistic thing you're ever going to achieve. Very few people are lucky enough to get there. But if we can create this documentary, this series, it gives some people some more fight and passion to want to go club racing.
Yeah,
because everyone wants to see themselves on TV and all the rest of it. But it also helps out with all the team sponsors and stuff, gives you that extra exposure and stuff. So if we can make it work and make it popular and show everyone what it's about, then it can only be a good thing, I hope.
Fingers crossed.
I think the way the other thing as well is there's one thing we're definitely going to try and encapsulate with this whole documentary. I mean, for me, I want to see it going on for a couple of years now. We were talking about it again the weekend, weren't we, boys? We were sitting down saying, there's so many angles we can do with this show. We could follow a single team and how they get on throughout a year. We could follow a series. We could follow, different race series or different, like a Markov car. The possibilities are endless. But if we can show, the main capture we want to get is just to show why we all do it, how accessible it is as well. I mean, even if you can't be a racing driver, but you want to come and spanner for a team, it's so easy. And if we can show this with Darren's, quite frankly, wizardry of videography, would you call it?
Yeah, I hate that name, but yeah, it's the only way you can describe it. Filmmaking.
Filmmaking. Isn't it? I mean, you'll see in a minute. We're going to show our clip. I say our clip, it's Darren's clip, but our clip. And I can't stop watching the clip. It just makes my hair stand on end because it's just
so much so
captures
it's
everything.
fallen out.
What?
So much so your hair's fallen out.
Yeah, honestly, it makes the hair stand up and fall off.
There we go. Sam Pearce. Sam Pearce loves the spanner life. Right, shall we play the clip then, Stefan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Two things.
Yeah.
Two things. One, that's how you start a race in the wet. Two, that still gives me a real fuzzy feeling in my chest watching that video. Honestly, I'm going to be biased. Of course, I'm going to be biased, but
yeah, but
when
it
that
drives
dropped,
us to make it as cool as we can make it, doesn't it?
Yes,
Callum McDougall, very true.
I think it's a great idea, and if it goes out on Amazon, I'm sure it will only help strengthen the club racing scene. Bang, that's the plan.
Yeah, Patrick Seal, there's a bit of wee in the end of my knob.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah,
Hey.
Justin Roberts. Justin, glad you're watching tonight because that man there in the comments, him and Will Heslop, you two were the drivers of the weekend at Alton. That was a fantastic performance in your Honda Civic.
For the record as well.
Justin. And thanks for helping us.
I was going to say, he's the pilot of the Civic. He's the other great race starter in that video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superb. Sam Pearce, love it. Completely agree with the opinion behind it as well. Again, if the problem is, I'll be honest, I love Drive to Survive as a spectacle, but there's one thing that really grinds my shit with it. And it's the fact that there is a lot of stuff on there that's just made up throughout the season, these rivalries. I mean, there was supposedly a big rivalry between Lando Norris and Carlos, and it was a load of shit. And they completely missed out on the story that everyone was talking about at Bahrain, the other race, which wasn't Roman Grosjean becoming Crispy Duck. It was George Russell in the Mercedes and the Heartbreak. They completely missed that out.
Yeah.
Because, and I looked at that and I was like, are you lots? And they're just making stuff up. Whereas something like this, if you can get the raw, which you already have, if you can get.
The problem with stuff like that is they have to sell it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Grosjean thing sells tenfold over the George Russell thing.
Oh, Christ. Do you I mean, we put a post up, didn't we? Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
There was
put
a post up
about,
we put up about it.
Yeah.
I think
about making sure you're wearing your fireproof.
Gear,
It went mental. And it's kind of one of them, isn't it?
It's drama, isn't it? Drama sells all day long. That's why people read the newspapers. Oh, drama!
Drama and sex sells. Can't do it on the track though, so
Yeah.
drama is.
Hold on, wait.
Exactly
Sex
that.
sales?
I mean, the only thing I will say that was missing, yeah. Darren, the only thing that was missing out of that preview was the look of the auxiliary belt shredding itself and landing on the floor as the Mini pulled up to the side of the road in qualifying.
Yeah, I wasn't out on track because it was raining. I don't do well. I don't do well with the filming. No. See, this is the thing that we want to get. Is I'm going to try and get over the year just a group of people who are interested in coming along and helping to get out on track and film stuff as well. And you know, I kind of want to make this as involved for everybody as possible. You know, it's getting people involved, not so just they can say, "Oh, look, I'm on TV," but it's look what I've done. You know, look what I do every weekend. It's a whole thing of what I think I do, what my mum thinks I do, what my friends think I do. I'm a racing driver. You know, there's people who've been doing it for years and years and years. Some old boys, gentleman drivers who get right in there and get stuck in. And what you find in the pits, they will happily help you out if you've got a problem. Yeah. Everybody helps each other person out. There's a nice 100%. Family feel down there. And what I noticed and what I saw, and I see this on quite a few series, but I saw it tenfold on this weekend, is people have a laugh. There was smiling, there was laughing. I heard people going around and said, have you got a 10 mil or a belt or a spark plug I can have? Straight away they're in their drawers. Yeah, take that, mate. You know, they were there to help each other. It doesn't matter what car you're in, what series you're in, colour, race, creed, whatever. People were helping each other out, and it was so nice to see that.
Yeah, you probably won't see that in a Formula One paddock. Just saying.
No, but it's true, and this the thing is as well. We want to take this. Obviously, we've spoken in the past about how we want to, you know, really put club racing in the limelight. So we want to be able to go to car shows. You know, people that can only dream of racing. I was a dreamer that wanted to go racing years ago. We want to be able to go to these car shows, sit down, have a little gazebo up, you know, have some pictures of everybody's cars. But at the same time, we want on our little TV over here, and a little sofa, if someone wants to sponsor a sofa, and just have Rags to Racetrack playing, just to show people, just because, you know, motorsport has this massive persona that you have to be some rich little prick that can, you know, and you have to be a rich little shit to go racing.
Don't say that about Steph. I know he's got a long driveway, but
seriously, all seriousness though, I don't care.
That's not a driveway.
It's not a fucking driveway. I don't care what anyone says. Right? If I went to a track day now, or I went to a car show right now, and I said to you, "Do you like motorsport? Yeah. Do you want to go racing?" I guarantee the answer will be no. I can't afford it because it's for rich people. And we just want to show that people. We just want to show to the world it's far more accessible than that.
Yeah.
Far more accessible than that.
To be honest, Sarah, I feel your pain. I haven't got a pot to piss in. We're still going racing. Fucking right.
100%. 100%.
That's what happens when you go racing. That's where your money goes.
Exactly.
Trust me.
Exactly.
Cheaper to get a drug addiction, isn't it? Let's be fair.
Exactly. Sam Pearce, completely agree, Nick. Sam did. I put the comments up earlier, but we were referring to the George Russell thing. What would have sold better than that? Climbing the ranks, heartbreak, and then followed by a podium because, of course, he got P2 at Spa.
Yep. Totally.
Paul Harvey then quite rightly said it sounded like a night out with him in Rochester. Sam thought it was quite accurate, so you know we'll go with that. Sai Sheza, it was a cool video, dramatic music, just lacked a monster or some dinosaurs or spaceships. We'll work on that.
They're coming in episode 2, Sai. Episode 2.
Spaceship.
Could you imagine that? You show the sun rising over Silverstone at a club meeting, and then all of a sudden, a fucking dinosaur rocks up.
And Nick pulls the sunglasses off. It's a practice. Waving the flag.
I'm sorry, guys, but if that is not the intro to episode 2 now, I'm out.
Oh, please, someone get the inflatable T-Rex costume.
Oh, Biz!
Yes!
Biz! Biz, you've got... Yes! That's happening!
What? I completely missed that.
If anybody has that on
Biz
in the
has an
paddock next time
inflatable
I
suit,
film
doesn't
it,
he?
I will give you a
Oh,
copy of
does
the film for free.
Yeah, honestly, right? Go on the Never Quit crew now, Steph, and ask Biz about Tarquin.
There we go.
Clips on the helmet.
Because he's got little arms. Well, this has just descended.
Just discriminating now on a T-Rex.
He's trying to grab the steering wheel.
Yeah. Patrick Sill, to be fair, after everything,
I didn't want to bring it up, Patrick. It's too upsetting to talk about.
I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it in the news and roundup, but even I was really upset at the demise of Tango. I hope you guys are out next year. Really do hope you get it sorted, guys. To lighten things up, finally, before we move on, Sam Pearce, a T-Rex defo, drives the DSG.
Yeah.
100%.
I'll have every single GoPro I own in that car.
So, to sum it up, guys, so Rags to Riches, when's it going to be?
Well, if you call it the right name, then we'll discuss it.
Rags to Racetrack, sorry.
When's it what?
You can tell you're not interested in this because you're not involved.
He will be, though.
He will be.
The Rob Lewis special. Behind the scenes.
For the record as well, actually, right, I'm just going to say it now. We were tossing around some ideas for ages, weren't we, what to call it. Rags to Racetrack is actually a hashtag I used to use back in my Vectra days because
it's also the problem is it's also a well-known saying, rags to riches. So when you say it, it just rolls off the flipping tongue. But yes, so rags to racetrack.
Stack this prick, will you? For fuck's sake, get him off.
Jesus Christ. Rags to racetrack. Just call it drive to Snetterton. Just go with that.
What's your question? Just move on and ask the question.
When are you filming it? What's your plans?
Our plan is to
as much as
it's
possible.
Probably one more weekend this year, isn't it? To put together the pilot episode, so that we can use that to go out and gain some interest for investors. And then our aim is to literally film it next year. Obviously, I've got commitments with other projects as well, but because it's weekends and it's racing, it's pretty much around the place. This is why I'm looking to get other people involved in it. But the bulk of the filming will be over next year's races. So,
I'll have you know, I was involved in filming this weekend as well, wasn't I?
Yes, you can hold a camera incorrectly very well. So yes, and it's a shame that you're having the lens pointing at you while interviewing the other people.
Fucking hell, Darren! Don't tell them that.
If you want to see the floor, I mean,
he's your man. Zooming on the floor.
It would have been fucking easier to drive the TARDIS than it would have been to use your fucking camera rig.
Trust me, 2 words you don't ever want to hear Nick Holmes say.
Well,
honestly, it's a wicked bit of kit.
And on that bombshell, the last comment from Justin Roberts, I'm pretty handy with a sharp view cam. That's going back some.
Is that the wind-up model?
Showing your age now there, boy.
Yeah, showing your age there, Justin. Darren, thank you for joining us this evening to talk everything about Rags to Racetrack.
Can I give away something? Am I allowed to give away something?
You carry on, Darren.
Yeah, of course you can.
I've got 3 copies of my film.
Lucas and Albert.
Yeah.
3 people can win this. If you can answer this question, what is my favourite and was my home track for racing? That's all I'm saying. First 3 correct answers, I'll post these off to you.
Oh, there we go.
Track, my home track.
I know exactly what it is, but I'm not saying a word.
No worries.
Okay, so there we go, guys.
Extras in there as well. So, but I just want to share the love a little bit.
Okay, no problem, guys. Well, get in the comments there. Are we announcing it at the end of the show, or are we?
Yeah, I probably won't be here because I can't be asked. But whoever comes up in order, let me know and I'll send it over. If they can just send addresses. Yeah, the first 3 correct answers. There.
Okay, guys, no worries.
Sorry, hold on, wait. Is that your movie, Darren?
My movie, my award-winning movie.
Interesting.
Because he's an award-winning director, everyone. In case
I'm bringing it all to you guys for this.
There we go. And if you
Thank
are
you, Darren.
interested, Lucas and Albert, superb film, Darren. Well done on the award winnings.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for joining us this evening. We all love you to bits.
Bless
And
you.
we will
Top
catch
bloke.
up. We will catch up again soon on the rags to racetrack journey. I'm going to have to say it like that for the rest of the year.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Darren.
All right, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Darren.
Okay. So yes, the competition. Darren is giving away 3 copies of his film Lucas and Albert on Blu-ray. All you need to do is answer what is his favourite and his home track. Get it in the comments there. There are 3 copies to win, and we'll see if we can get some winners tonight.
I don't even know the answer to that question.
I do, Nicholas.
I don't.
Anyway, one of the main topics for tonight was actually brought on by Alton Park. Now, Nick did say during the live video during the Club Racing UK day out at Brands last week, he looked up at the sky. It was clear blue skies during the bank holiday. You had some fantastic weather. But sadly, previously over the summer, it's not been that great. I'll be honest, the weather at times has resembled a drag race in the English Channel, which gets you to thinking, wet weather, racing, how can you get the best out of your car, your driving, and yourself to race in the wet? We have a picture here of a car set up by a guy that just might know. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Chris Pratt of All Square Rapid Ride joining the show this evening. Evening, Chris.
Hey!
Do what I do. Go on Google. You can look it all up on there. What you've got to do.
Love it.
Superb.
Good
Well,
to see
as
you.
you can see, guys, I mean, it was bad enough at Alton Park, wasn't it, Stefan? But if chances are, if you race in the UK, you are going to come across some wet weather. And you could be like this guy, Sam Pearce, and pick up some trophies. Hey!
Yeah, you did well.
Just picked
I
them
was
up.
there with you guys, wasn't
He's
I?
just like, whose are these? Just wander off of
You
them.
did really well that day.
He really, he just walked away with it. Absolutely superb. So, Chris.
He didn't know, did he?
He did.
He did.
For his first ever
But he
race, he absolutely
I was
beast
going
it.
to
Well,
say.
He didn't, did he? Because he was driving. Duh.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh,
Steph, sack him, for fuck's sake. Right. So, to me, there are 2 aspects of wet weather racing, neither of which I can do particularly well. So, number 1 would be
Neither
setting
can
the
Matt.
car. Yeah. So, number 1 would be setting the car up. So, I think you're a bit of an expert at this, Chris.
yeah, we've
So,
done all right.
how would you, if a club racer came to you and say, Chris, how on earth do I set up my car for racing in the wet? What would you go about?
So there's a few places that I normally start with them, but obviously it depends on what their car's got fitted to it in the first place. So normally the go-to things, if it's greasy or wet, is just soften it up. You need the car to roll. Your tyres aren't going to generate the grip as they would do in the dry, especially if you're on a single tyre. Some series, like one of the ones where you run in, it's one tyre for the wet or dry. So you need to soften the car up. You're not going to get the grip out of the tyres as you normally would, so you need to generate some mechanical grip, and you need to get as much footprint on the road as you possibly can. So what you need to do is soften it up and try and get the thing to roll a bit to give you some feel. There's some shocks there, there's some KWs and some nitrons. So if you've got adjustable damping, which nearly all race shocks will do, just soften it up a bit. At least
So
it
that
gives you some roll. So that's a KW, that's got 4-way adjustment. So you've got high and low speed bump and rebound there. So basically soften off the bump, which is your compression, soften off the rebound, and allow the car to roll and move around a bit. By allowing it to roll, you're going to give the tyre with its the camber that's already built into the suspension a chance to roll out onto its contact patch, and you need the contact patch to clear the water from the tread. So this is like really, really simple, kind of trying to keep it simple explanation. Let's not go too heavy on it. So you can soften the car off. Also, if it's really wet, you need to get loads of roll in the car, disconnect or soften off the roll bars. So I think you've got a picture there, Rob. There's an anti-roll bar.
A broken one. that's one way to soften the roll bar off.
Yeah, that's one.
Oh, you fuckers. I recognise that anti-roll bar.
If you've got a roll bars with several different holes on them, so you can stiffen them up or soften them off, either move the roll bar link to the hole furthest from the roll bar, which will help you soften the bar off, or if it's pissing it down, just take the roll bar link off completely. You've only got to take one off at the rear and one off at the front, and that way the roll bar is not connected, not doing anything. So that will give you plenty of roll. That's the best way to. That's the most basic two things is roll bars and shocks. You can get more, you can delve more into it if you want to, and if you've got the time. The amount of times this year we've had a rain in the assembly area, we've gone up there, it's looking a bit dodgy, so you've got some tools in your back pocket just in case it rains. Literally, all I take is stuff to disconnect or loosen off or soften off a roll bar, and stuff for the shocks. It's stuff you can do in 2 minutes, and it'll make a big difference over what your dry setup would have done for you. If you've got more time and you've got the equipment to do it, try and get some camber. Take some camber off the car. So the wet weather, there you go. That's me stringing up the Club Racing UK car earlier this year. So yeah, take some camber off. You need as much of that tyre, much as the contact patch on the road as you possibly can. And in the wet, you're not going to generate the load, not generating the forces as you would do in the dry. So the car's not going to roll over, use its camber like it normally would do. So take some camber off the car. So say you're running 3 degrees normally, take it down to 2 or something like that, just to give the tread of the tyre, just get as much tyre on the road and give the tread chance to clear as much water as it possibly can. If you're not clearing the water, you're not going to get any grip. So that's a slightly more advanced and time-consuming thing to do, because every time you adjust camber on a car, it also knocks the toe out, especially on the front end if you've got like a tie rod. Some cars, some single-seaters, stuff like Lotus Elises on the front, they're shimmed. So in actual fact, on those, you can do a camber change without messing up the toe. But on anything with a McPherson strut, like the Mini or your Focus rod, something like that, if you take some camber off it, you're going to ruin your toe. So you've got to be able to string your car and reset the toe afterwards. So that's a more time-consuming thing. If you look like you've got a really wet day ahead of you and you've got the stuff to do it, then it's a worthwhile thing to do. But yeah, the two main things are roll bars and shocks. Just give yourself. It is Jason. I'm his stunt double. Darren actually cast me for one of Jason Statham's stunt roles a few years ago. I'm sure he'll confirm that. He's probably nodding back.
I love it.
On the screen somewhere. Roll bars and shocks. Honestly, 3/4 of the adjustments that I make are just to roll bars and shocks because they're easy, they're quick, and I've done it enough times. I know the changes they're going to make.
Superb. So yeah, get that anti-roll bar softened off, nice and snappy.
I mean, that was a fully adjustable anti-roll bar, and that actually broke going into the complex of Silverstone.
Yeah, that's not nice, especially on a high-speed
drive.
Silverstone. But there's a lot more things. I could talk for hours and go into a lot more detail, but to keep it simple and to give everyone a general overview, they're the go-to things. There's stuff you can change ride height to the car. So if you're running a single-seater, like the F1000 guys or the Clubman's car that I run, there you go. There's a Nitron with a roll bar link there. So the Clubman's car that I run, it's only running 40 mil of ride height. So in the wet, if it's looking like a really wet day, raise the ride height a bit, stop it aquaplaning, help the car get some roll into it so you can use that contact patch. And by getting some roll in the car, it also gives you a bit of feel as well. And you know what it's like, Steph was saying earlier, in the wet, you've got no feel. You don't know what the car, it's hard to feel what the car's doing. So by getting some roll in the car, it'll help you with your feel as well. It's all about feel and confidence in the wet. So do those few things that I've told you already to generate some roll, generate some mechanical grip, and generate some confidence and some feel in it.
That's really good.
Superb. And one thing that I desperately probably needed to do at Alton Park was waterproofing. So what would be the way to go about that?
Yeah, you touched on it earlier about the screen. So, simple things, Rain-X, or, we sell a product called Geon Quartz Anti-Fog. So we use that on the race cars, it's the same thing. There you go, in the middle. It does the same job as Rain-X, just to stop the screen fogging up. Simple prep items though. What we used to do quite often, and what I still do on certain cars, is WD-40. If you, some of the fixings, obviously nowhere near your brakes and items like that, and belts. But if you've got a really wet day and if you're not going to be able to dry your car down immediately after the meeting, we used to WD-40 stuff like the nuts and the bolts. On the single seaters, we did all the push rod adjustments because they fur up and rust. Then you can't adjust them. In general maintenance, a lot of electrical connectors nowadays have those rubber boots inside. So when you clip them together, they're waterproof. The amount of those that fall out and people have forgotten, won't realise, or they're split. And we all know that electronic issues is guaranteed DNF, isn't it? You know, you're out there, misfire, what do? You pull over. So just simple things like that. Even wipe a little bit of Vaseline around those little boots in the plugs. Just seal everything up. It's, you know, you can probably spend an hour doing your prep for the next meeting. Disconnect 20 or 30 of those plugs, check the boot, smear some Vaseline, a little bit of Vaseline around, clip them back in. Just gives you a fighting chance of keeping the water out. Little things like that.
Chris, do you have any recommendations for your wiper motor at all?
Don't race in the wet. But yeah, well, to be fair to Rob, he said earlier he's done little things like changing the O-rings, and he's had just little things like that. It's generally
it's what I found as soon as I took the shaft out, took the shaft out, the O-rings just fell to bits. They were brittle. Considering it was a motor I bought a couple of years ago, and I only started racing properly this year, I think it's just sat for a while, got brittle, and that's where all the water's got in.
Unfortunately, as club racers, you don't get a full week of prep, 40 hours to strip the car down or whatever between meetings. So, unfortunately, these things do crop up, and it's a pain in the arse when they do. But when you do get the time just to do that extra half an hour on something, or Rob found his issue then, that motor will be fine for a few years now. It's just doing little bit. If you can give yourself an extra job after each meeting, you'll slowly get on top of these little things.
Yeah.
Eventually the list will end eventually.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it really does. It never ends. We know that, don't we? It never ends. But you reduce it vastly, and then something stupid will come up, like a supercharger pulley or a drive shaft. Little annoying things like that you've got to get on top of. But if you can do the little prep items and get on top of those little bits through the season, then you'll be amazed at the smooth running of the meetings. You can get out of the meetings.
Yeah.
So this picture here, describe this, Chris. Come on, let us in. There's not a lot of people that come onto the show that say they look after a lovely red Ferrari 458.
It's hard work. So yeah, that's one of my customers. He's got two. So he's got that one, and he's also got a 458 Challenge. So one of my winter jobs was to pretty much rebuild that. So go through, strip it back to the shell, crack test it, replace the fuel tank, so it's the whole back end of the car off, and then I look after it at the Masters historic race meetings for him. So we're out of all the old Le Mans cars, the LMP2s, LMP1s. So yeah, that was at Silverstone Classic, that picture, and it absolutely pissed it down that weekend. So that was very relevant wet weather work. So one of the other items I haven't touched on yet, if you've got a Formula car, increase the downforce. Doesn't matter about straight line drag or anything. You just want to get the damn tyres pushed into the tarmac. So on that car, we could increase the downforce. You can raise the ride height again to get the roll in it. On that particular, that was I think that would have been qualifying. That was a roll bars off, front and rear roll bars off. We got the luxury of tyre warmers, so we had tyre warmers just to get everything up to temperature. It's a lot
tyre
of
warmers.
Tyre warmers. Club racing, but tyre warmers. That car's a lot of work, and there's so much adjustment on it. It's such a sensitive car, so you have to keep it simple. So Jonathan Bevan's correct there.
Best investment you can make is a heated screen.
Absolutely. So on the Ferrari, it's roll bars, soften off the shocks, raise the ride height, and if I needed it, it was downforce. And that thing, it should have been the slowest GT car out there. And at one point, we were second out of all the GTs. I think we ended up fourth overall in GTs in the second race. The class winners, fourth overall. But at one point, we were beating stuff with 150 horsepower more than us because it just got the power down and it went around corners nicely.
Super.
Okay, there you go, Rob. So with downforce, obviously your splitter, for instance, would have made a massive difference.
But unfortunately, you were an absolute wanker and broke it at Brands Hatch. So moving on from that, so we've set the car up. How about because you're a bit of a driver whisperer. Let's be honest. You can listen and see what the drivers are doing. I like to call you the driver whisperer. So the driving aspect of driving in the wet, what would you do differently?
Hold on. I just want to say, actually, while we're all having this conversation, if anybody else has views and things that work on wet days, get them in the comments.
Everyone's got their own things. Everyone's got their own go-to. I mean, this year I'm going to do a little, shameless, not name drop, trophy drop. So I mean, this year's been quite good. We've had a hell of a lot of wet races, as you know, and last year we had a good year for cars we ran and trophies that customers won. But this year we've had 87 trophies won by our customers already, and a lot of those are in wet weather. Honestly, we had 49 last year, 87 already this year. I think 39 of those are wins, and a lot of those have been in wet weather just by employing the simple things that I've been stating tonight.
Welcome to racing in the UK summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, things you can do. So things you can do. I mean, we look after some relatively new drivers, and one of the things that I tell them is don't be scared of it. Just don't be scared of being creative. I mean, there's certain corners. It doesn't matter if you chuck it off, especially places like Silverstone. If you've got runoff, go and try things into those corners. If you run wide, who cares if you're doing it in a practice session? Rejoin, get back on, and you know what works and what doesn't work. So don't be scared to get creative when it's safe. That's the key thing, is do it when it's safe. Cheers, Patrick.
So Patrick still says, I have a view. Listen to Chris. We did and won our first trophies in the first 2 races. So, yeah, he's good. Cam Tunio. Run your space heater in the car before the race to get everything hot, roll cage, etc. Heated windscreen, as per Jonathan Bevan.
Yeah. So get creative. Don't be scared to get creative. So when it's safe, try things. If you've got a gravel track on the edge of the corner, don't try it somewhere else on the track. But normally you have to run off line. So when there's a lot of rubber down on the racing line, stay inside or outside of a line. You'd be amazed if you go and do a track walk on the night before a race. Just go and have a look at how much rubber's on the circuit, because if it's really grippy and sticky when you're walking it in the dry, it's going to be like glass in the wet. So get a feel for actually where the rubber is first. So track walks are important to get a good feel for the dry and what could happen in the wet. The obvious one that everyone should know is generally stay off painted curbs. They are pretty damn slippy. The only thing with driving offline is at some point you've got to cross the rubber, you've got to cross the racing line. So unfortunately, it's going to be trial and error as to what point you're happy to cross the line. Some people will brake on the middle of the track, suffer the apex, the understeer, oversteer, what they're going to get, and then try and accelerate on the middle of the exit. Some people will cut across and go right around the outside of the corner, which means they've then got to pick up the rubber on the exit normally. But you'll start to get a feel of what works for you. So there is no magic formula. You've just got to get creative and just try and stay off the rubber as much as possible in the corners, and build your confidence. But,
I must say, it's scary. It's really scary. Like, you've been driving. I'm not a seasoned racer by any stretch of the imagination, but you stick to a racing line and then you add some water to it, and you're like, you just can't go nowhere near the racing line. Yeah, it's amazing how much faster being off that line, be it the outside of a corner, what have you. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right.
Sam
feel like you're completely in the wrong place, but
I mean, I've talked Sam Pearce a lot this evening. What he achieved in his first race was incredible. What a lot of people don't realise, he's put the comment here, seat time is irreplaceable. Yeah. Sam, if you can in the comments, mate, just tell us how many track days in the wet you did before that round. I think it was quite a bit. And while everyone on the track day shirked inside because the weather got heavy, Sam was the only car out there lapping and trying different things. Yeah,
go around the round. Keep going around. We say this on the track support days I do with customers. They get me in, there you go, 800 laps Sam did. So there you go. It just shows you 800 laps of experience of trying lines, trying things. But he's put on, no doubt Sam's tried setup stuff. So there's nothing better than seat time to do it. One of the things I say to guys, I do a lot of track support, as you guys know. I came up the other week to see you. And when I'm helping people in track support, the clouds come out and it starts raining, and sometimes they want to pack up. What's the point? We're there. Let's go and try some things. I'll go out on the circuit and watch you. We can try some setup stuff, and you learn a huge amount. You will learn just because the car's going to get wet and we're going to get wet. You're going to race in it one day, so may as well get on with it now. Testing it now and try things before the weekend.
Yeah, you're doing it in the UK. You're gonna get wet.
Yeah, there you go. James Stone Street's made a very good point. Winter track days. Get out on the winter track days. Take the WD-40 with you. Get everything waterproofed, and go and do some laps in the rain. Yeah, you need to, because when it rains at the meeting, you know straight away what to go to. Just got to soften up that damper. Soften up that damper. Don't forget to do the windscreen. Don't forget. You know what your tyre pressures are. the amount of people I go to race meetings, or what tyre pressure should I run? You should have tried that. So yeah, go testing, go winter testing, learn it all now. So in August, when it's pissing it down as per normal, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you said about the painted surfaces and everything like that. I did a track walk at Alton, not the weekend we did, but the previous week, and it had been, the grass was quite wet. It had been raining quite badly the day before, so I literally there was a particular corner, I think it was Druids, and you could see where the rubber was down. So I just got my foot, rubbed it in the grass just to see how slippy it was. Not going to lie to you, I put my feet on the rubber and nearly went up on my arse. Wasn't doing anything drastic, but that's straight away in my mind was like, Jesus, you don't compute in your head that's how slippy it's going to be.
It's phenomenal. We did, you say about Alton, I did a track walk at Alton probably 5 weeks ago, something like that now, and it was a nice warm day. Did a track walk, and the rubber was stuck to my trainers after the track walk. There was that much rubber down, it was ridiculous. Now, if you any kind of drizzle on that, it's going to be an ice rink, an absolute ice rink. So part of the preparation is go and do a track walk, get a feel for what the circuit's doing and where it all is. And like you say, Rob, just doing a simple test like that, you can really get it's a frightening reality of what can happen over the weekend just by doing a simple test like that. Yeah, track walks are invaluable. It
is like driving on ice, isn't it? Like you hit that rubbery stuff, you hit the rubbery racing line on a wet track. Yeah. You may as well be on ice. It's
you have to cross the rubber somewhere. That's the problem with a race with a wet line. You have to cross the rubber somewhere. So you need. I mean, the most important thing, you've got to be able to stop the car for the corner. Number one, you're not going to make the corner if you can't slow it down. So generally, brake in a little bit, and then from there, get creative. See if going across the rubber to the outside of the corner works and square it off. That's one thing. Or see if you can take the apex and just stay a little tighter on the inside to get out the corner. But at some point, you have got to cross the rubber, unless you want to go around on the grass. But yeah, that's it. You've got to cross it somewhere. So just get creative. Yeah, get the car stopped for the corner, then get creative. Find out what works on the exit, running wide, staying tight. But only you can decide that. So, as James said, seat time is invaluable.
Superb. There we go. Anything else to add, gents? I would say. Well, the only other thing I can add in the limited time I had, because I've got a pedal box now, and I'm learning to play with the bias.
Yeah, move it backwards a little bit so you don't lock the front. Only a little bit. One click at a time. Try it and see what you think.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing that made me shit my britches more, apart from 3 laps later when the wheel came off, was having to sort of brake, feeling the brakes lock up and having absolutely nothing, and then trying to sort of come off the pedal and reset everything to get the wheels turning again, and sort of learning how the car, because of course when I drove the car before, I had ABS, I had traction control, I had everything like that with a standard ECU. Yeah. So again, it's
get pumping the brake pedal. Yeah, just try and stop that lock. Obviously, another important thing, actually, we mentioned tyres, but the only thing touching the tarmac is the tyres, and a lot of people I speak to actually they dump a load of air out the tyres, but you need to keep the tread pattern. You need to keep the tread, otherwise you're not going to stop the car. You're going to lock the tyres up. You're going to have no grip. I actually increase the pressures, the cold pressures slightly, because like I said earlier, you're not generating the load, you're not generating the friction and the grip, so the tyres won't come up as high as normal. So I see a lot of people dump air out. I actually increase the pressures a little bit because you need to keep that tyre shape. You need to keep the tyre shape. Otherwise, if the tyre's sagging a bit in the middle, you haven't got the the inflation correct, it's not going to clear any water out the middle of the tyre. Equally, if you overinflate, you're only going to clear out the middle and nothing on the edges. So again, test days are good for finding a tyre pressure that works for you. Simple little things. A lot of people overthink things, but just simple little things, just keeping your tyre the correct pressure. Don't dump all the air out. Actually, put a little bit in to keep the shape. Just a little bit.
Little things like that. I mean, Half says there, don't be scared, relax, breathe, allow the car to move. I'm amazed how many people just simply drive in procession, sticking to the dry line.
Yeah.
And you say about tyres, Barwell Garage, Vic has come up, not much mention of wet tyres. Well, okay.
On tyres, some of the stuff we race.
Let's discuss wet tyres then.
Yeah, some of the stuff we race in is one tyre for the wet and dry, and I don't know. Some of the MSV championships might be like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, on a wet tyre, like I've literally just said, you've got to keep the tread pattern. You've got to keep the tyre as much tyre, the tread pattern in contact with the road as you can to clear the water. If you're not clearing the water, you've got no grip. So I mean, I can't give you any recommendations of wet tyres. It depends what your series, what you've got to run.
I don't know. I think there's only one tyre that everyone seems to cry about, isn't it? About wet. Is it Rain Sport 3s?
We don't run them. We have to run Pirellis in one of the series.
It doesn't matter what track day, race day forum I ever see. Everyone's always like, Rain Sport, Uniroyal Rain Sport 3s.
Well, it's Rain Sport 3, the Rain Sport 5s now. But again, that's in a series that allows list 1A, 1B, 1C tyres.
Yeah. It all depends on your series.
Yeah, I mean,
to experience to what you've tried. I mean, the series we run in, we have to run in one of them one certain Michelin. So, for that, if it's a wet day, we'll take a bit of camber off, soften the car off, and raise the tyre pressure slightly. In another one, we have to run a Pirelli, whether it's wet or dry. So if you've got a series that will allow different wet tyres, you're going to have to speak to people in the paddock because they've got accumulatively, there's so much knowledge in a paddock. So make friends, get talking to people and see what the consensus is. But it all comes down to track time again, trying things out. Yeah.
But it's like, you in the Focus, you in the Mini, Steph. I mean, even back in my classic touring car days with the Vectra, it was like you had to run the R888s. Well, I ran the R888s, wet or dry. I think you boys have to run the same, don't you? So
we have to run the same tyre. But Nick, I think your first set, I didn't get the video of you sliding at Cops, but I can remember when that moment happened. I think you were going out on the old Yokohama tyre, and it was the same thing. We were all learning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it is for us, even as mechanics. It's a massive learning. When you come to run a new car for someone, or you get a new driver, you learn every time. You'll do a damping change. You'll do it on one car that you've done before, or the guy's teammate, and he'll have a different feel about it. So even as mechanics and engineers, we learn all the time. And there'll be people that are watching this, and they'll go, "Yeah, I did the same as Chris." And there'll be people that are watching this, go, "Oh, I do this instead, and it works." That's cool.
Yeah.
If you know what works for you in the wet, that's brilliant. Whether you leave the roll bars on and you soften the car, or you take them off, it doesn't matter. If I can give some people some pointers and get them thinking about what to do and hopefully brave enough to experiment, then that's great. If you've got something that works, then brilliant. At least you've done the research and the testing already.
That's the thing. I suppose everybody's different as well, aren't they? So
and all cars are. Some cars have got independent rear suspensions. Some have got blooming live axle and leaf springs. If it's an old car, so what I've just said goes out the window on some of those. It all completely depends on the car you've got. So by touching on a few simple points, hopefully some of those will work on all cars. One of those points will work.
I'll use the example of the picture you put up earlier, that old Ford Mustang you've got.
Yeah.
I bet that's night and day different from obviously setting up that Ferrari, for instance. So
well, you look at a car like that. That's
I'm glad that didn't bite and roll over. Yeah, that's that. But even something like an old Escort, with a Watts link at the rear, and what you can do with them compared to a similar age, or an older TVR or something, they're completely different beasts. So if you gave me both those cars, I'd be doing different things on them to try and achieve the same result.
Yeah, and then you can something like a Fun Cup car. It's a space frame chassis, so there's probably loads of adjustment capable on there. Sorry, Steph. Sorry.
That's what I was just going to say. I remember last year when we was at the KA Indy 500.
Yeah.
In qualifying, Chris was with us, and I think Matt went out and did the first half and didn't do too bad. And then qualifying went on for like a week because of the amount of red flags. But I was really struggling with oversteer. I could not get the car to go around for a good lap at all. And I think I come in the pits, and I think I told Chris what was going on, and I think you did something with the front tyres.
Yeah.
That completely changed how it drove. It was night and day.
Yeah, sometimes
it was crazy.
Yeah, you have to listen to what you're really good at feedback. You and Matt are really good at feedback. So from what you said to me, it sounded like the front was gripping up too much and pulling the rear around to keep it in really, really simple terms. So sometimes, quite often, people look at the wrong end of the car. So by let's face it, there's not a lot you can do on KAs, but by making a change on the front of a car, it can affect what happens at the rear. So that's where experience comes in, and guys like myself, and there'll be a lot of other guys out there watching now and that are involved in racing. A lot of experience by listening to feedback you go, hang on a minute, it's not the rear of the car, it's the fault, it's the front, and you can stiffen the front, raise the pressures, I know, do things, take some toe out off of it to try and calm the rear down. But it all depends on what adjustment is available to you and what can be done on each car and where in the corner the issue is happening. You can talk, you can talk for hours on this and go through so many different scenarios, but hopefully as a brief thing tonight, it will give some people some help.
Definitely.
Awesome.
We should just say, actually, if you're watching, you're listening, you're intrigued, get your questions in. If you've got any questions you want to fire at Chris, if you've got any issues,
if I can help, I will. I don't know everything.
Yeah, just
something I can help with.
This is the only time it'd be for free.
Yeah.
Love it. But in all seriousness, guys, if you do have any, if there's anything you want to know, no such thing as a stupid question, is there now?
No. I mean, that's one thing. I'm going to do a little name. Here's a name drop for you. So I used to work for a fella called Mark Webber. You might have seen him driving a Red Bull, and that's one of the things that he told us at the time. He said to us, "There's no such thing as a stupid question." He said, "You got a question, ask it, and we'll give you an answer." Mm-hmm. He said, "If you ask me it 3 times, that's stupid. You're not listening." But he said, "If you've got a question, ask it. It's not stupid if you don't know." And that's coming from a bloke who, he's, as most people know, he's pretty handy.
Yeah,
he was pretty handy.
Won multiple Grand Prix, but unfortunately Sebastian Vettel couldn't hear him a few times.
James, and that was while I was there. That was while I was there as well. So yeah, we never mentioned that. Yeah,
James Stone Street. That's a good point, actually. From a mechanic's point of view, if you are working with someone on the spanners, good feedback is king and is vital to getting the car right.
Absolutely. There's nothing worse as a mechanic, the driver coming in and going, "It's shit." That's amazing feedback. What do I do with it? What do I do with
it? Nothing changes.
Steph, what have we said in the past?
Yeah. You need feedback. You need good communication between
you need to know what the car's doing or not doing.
However simple it might be, just understeering everywhere. Cool. Actually, that's quite a nice thing to have understeer everywhere because it's quite a simple thing to tune out. So any kind of feedback you can give your guys, if they've got half a clue of setup, then they'll already have a really good idea of what to try.
Yeah. Nick's disappeared. You can't be that bored.
If I went on for a few hours,
pizza.
It might be another pizza he's put in. Stu, wait, nothing changes more than the race in the 2CV in 24 hours. To be fair, that's quite a good point. Because, I don't know.
Well, and you.
Yeah, you're. I've done a couple where it's been absolutely beautiful summer's evening, and then middle of the night it's pissed down with rain, and they were like, "Right, go on, fat boy, get in the car." And you're driving at 2-3 o'clock in the morning when it's pissing down with rain on tyres that are about that big.
Yeah.
And, this was 10 years ago, so tyre technology probably still wasn't great. There's a lot of things you learn, but camber change on a 2CV is so good. It's so good.
Is that when you warm up the axle and whack it with a hammer?
We had a 2CV wheel that we welded a scaffold pole to with brackets. You bolt this wheel on, heat up the axle, and then bend it, and measure it. It's just so easy, and it's the same with the toe out and in and everything. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
But Stu, because obviously Stuart was out in the race last week. I'm sure at some point we'll cover it, and when Nick's less bored. Anyway, he's back now. We better stop talking about him. Where did you go, Nicholas?
Sorry, the cider went through me.
Nick's getting bad.
I beat Steph to the toilet, everyone.
Jesus Christ, that must be a record. You didn't miss much, Nick. We were just discussing 2CVs.
Fucking boring.
Boring for Nick. You've never raced one. They're good fun.
I don't think I won't pass up an opportunity to race anything these days.
I was going to say, if you have a race car, be it an MG midget or a basket, because Nick's he's crying.
I'm poor and I can't afford to race anything, but I really miss racing. So come on, guys, give me something to race.
Superb. Well, any other business to add on the wet front?
No, unless we got any comments or questions or anything.
Unfortunately,
I'd be scared of it.
I think the comments dried up there, but I think that's the thing. Go out, try new things.
They dried up while talking about wet racing.
Hey. There we go. The dry line on the comments has appeared. But thank you very much, Chris. If you like, you can stay on for the competitions that Stefan has lined up and for the Burkitt teams. So go on, Steph. Take it away.
Hang on.
There you go.
There we go. One last comment there from Patrick Sill. Thanks, Chris. Really, really helpful, as always.
Well done,
So, yes,
Chris.
thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Chris.
Anyway, on to the competitions. What do you want to start with, Steph?
Competition. Well, we've got one competition running. Well, yeah, one proper competition. So motorsport, a drinks bottle. So we're giving away 3 of these custom ones. So the winner can have whatever they like on their motorsport drinks bottle. I think we're going to be announcing it in the next podcast. So it's 3 weeks left.
3 weeks time.
All you got to do is become a member, and you're automatically enrolled in all of our competitions, which currently is this one. So become a member if you're not already a member. If you are a member, good luck, and get planning your design.
What else do you get if you're a member, Steph?
If you're a member, you also get access to our discount partnership with multiple companies. I think it's 35 plus now.
Over 35
but we've also got a couple more on board recently. So if you haven't seen on the social media, we've got motorsport suppliers today. Wow, it's quite general. So they supply a lot of stuff. We've been speaking with them. We've sorted out a discount for all our members. It's another one of them where you kind of select what you like type thing and then contact them and they give you their best discount. Otherwise, a generic one wouldn't work too well with that one. So just a normal 5-10% off. They would have to market that low. Otherwise, if they gave us a large one on some stuff, they'd start losing money on. So it's better off if you contact them and they sort you out with the best deal they've got. And today, we have now got Alex Reed Motorsport on board. So it's exactly the same again, but his is in racewear. So he's going to give us a discount on his racewear. And he's also going to help us out with some competitions with some prizes. So he's going to let me know that in the next few days. And then hopefully we get some of them out there as well. But
I was going to say that's a logo that you do see around the houses on 2 certain cars you see on the show a lot.
Yeah,
100%.
He's a sponsor of the series. I mean, he helped us out a lot when we went to the Brands test day in the Mini. We did the sound check in the paddock. We passed. We went out on track and set off every single sound sensor going around, and they black flagged us. So we then had to find some of the old tailpipe silencers. So we ran up to Alex Reed Motorsport. If you ever get a chance to Brands, let's just pop in there for a chat. He's a really nice guy. He's got a nice shop, some cool stuff in there. So just go up and have a look. But great guy. Sorted us out, spoke to him and stuff. And because we're fellow KA racers and because of what we do, he gave us a nice little discount, which I'm sure we give our members. And got us back on the road and managed to finish the track day without setting off the old noise alarms again. So happy days. So become a member and you get access to that. Also priority posting on our social media.
This is it, guys. We try to make motorsport cheaper for everybody. We do.
We do try our best. Become a member.
Do it. Do it now.
What we got next? The burger.
Oh shit,
Nick.
Yeah?
I've just forgotten something. We were meant to do our profile picture at 9:00.
Yes, we were, Nicholas.
We did forget. But we are slightly busy.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna do it mid-show, but we're busy.
Forgot, yeah.
So.
How are you going to
We'll do it
that?
after the
You'll
show.
use your phone for the show.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it after the show.
Great time in there by Nick. Shall we just pop? I mean, I'm wearing one, and it's something that's been on everyone's thoughts the past few weeks. So if you are still interested in getting one of these bad boys, or getting one of these bad boys stuck onto your car to support
Whoa.
the Orange Army.
Bad person.
Huh?
You are?
You're being very gender specific there, Robert.
Are you, Nick? Stop being woke as fuck. Let's just I'm not having that on the show. Not having that on the show. Simple as.
Hello.
Move on. Crack on. There you go.
You have to.
So if you want one of those bad boys, or if you want one of those bad boys, Stefan, where do they go?
Rolling screen at the bottom. www.wrestlinguk.co.uk. Buy some merch. All the Marshall stuff, all the profits go to the Marshall's Fund, so we don't get any of that. But it goes to a very good cause. They do an awesome job for us. And we do feel that they deserve something, and we need to give back to them, as well as showing them our love and respect whilst we're racing at the end. Give them a wave, thumbs up, big cheer, flash your lights.
100%.
Don't ignore them.
Buy them a coffee, buy them a tea, do something. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. They give us a lot of time for us. So.
Okay, Steph, we're on to next, bud. Should we go with the Burkett?
Yeah, head to the Burkett. Right, so it's compete. So for teams, so we're going to run a race within the race at the Burkett this year. So it won't affect the Burkett race if anyone's worried about that. That will run exactly how it is. If you're entered through us, every Club Racing UK team we've entered will have the opportunity to win their race entry fee back. So out of the Club Racing UK teams, whatever race wins or highest place on a scratch race, that team will win their entry fee back. So any team you like, it doesn't cost anything else. You've just got to come to us.
It's nothing extra. You just have to come via us.
Yeah.
It'll be exactly the same race entry fee. You get put into the same pot to be able to win your race entry fee back. You could race for free at the Burkett in 2021.
And for companies, so again, we're all about exposure and trying to help everyone with marketing and all the rest of it. So any companies that want extra exposure, want to be a part of the fabulous race that is a Burkett Relay, and have a lot of exposure through many avenues we'll be using over that weekend. Plus your team, the team name will be your business name. Which obviously goes out on a lot of live streams and seen by a lot of people. It stays there the whole time, so everyone will see it. Plus, through our social coverage, we'll be breaking up the motorsport with your advertisement or posters, whatever sort of content you give us. We keep flashing that throughout the day or throughout the race, so you get as much exposure as possible.
It's going to be unrivaled, isn't it? When we were crunching figures, I mean, it's astronomical just how quickly, how many people we can put you in front of. So,
I suppose the word is slightly wrong with the sponsor. You're using it as a market employee. So, if any business wants to get some more exposure, then definitely send us a message, and
and additionally, if you want to compete in the 70th Burkett Relay, which is arguably one of the most classic races in British motorsport, get yourself involved. Excuse me.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Definitely.
So that moves us on. Would this be, I would say a first to last thing? What's this all about?
Right, so this is released today, as far as I'm aware. I believe some of the people that they've worked with before and stuff know already, but I believe this has been announced today. So we've teamed up with Racing Mentor. She's just started her Sponsorship Success Academy. I believe it launches, the academy starts in October. So I think you can do it anytime, but I think if you want to be on there quick, then you've got to kind of get involved pretty soon. So basically the academy, so she deals a lot with helping people securing sponsorship, in teaching them how to go out and sell yourself to businesses to create your sponsorship. And then it's a 90-day course. So basically, if you go to, I think the link is in the bio for this this podcast. But if you go to that link, then it goes through her website and everything, what it's all about. But you get a 90-day course with all those things that's on the screen right now. And she'll teach you and guide you and help you become more confident, how to approach companies, and give you all the tools and stuff to make sure you're more effective at securing sponsorship to go racing. So you're not just sending a million emails every single day and getting nothing in return. She'll help you and coach you in the best possible way to make sure you're productive with your sponsorship hunt. Again, we will be posting this on our socials very soon with the link. I think the link should be in the bio for this podcast. So if you want to go to it straight away, head there. But we will be launching it on ours very soon. But if you do, we do have a 10% discount straight away for it. So if you're heading out to it and it's something you're really interested in, you want discounts for it, you get 10% discounts as Club Racing UK 10. So use that, guys. It's not. We're here about saving money. So if you're really interested in it and it's something you want to do, make sure you use that discount code.
Do it.
Let's do it. And then you can race for nothing. Someone else can pay for your racing.
As simple as that, he says. Yeah.
And you can go. Yeah, I mean, you can go through some of the. There's many testimonies on the website about. Obviously people.
I can safely put my hand up. I can safely put my hand up straight away when Jess first launched, and we did our first program. Obviously, she sponsored the old Vectra back in the days, and just a few little tweaks of your mindset and how to think about how you are helping a business more than a business are helping you can make a massive difference of how you can get people on board. And I now personally, I mean, I've still got lots more to learn, but I know now going forwards with my racing, if I want to do any more, then I'm definitely going to 100% have to be relying on people for sponsorship. So I'll be definitely behind it as well. So.
Yep. This is so. She's helped people go from 0 to a 5-figure number to get them to go racing. So if you just focus on going club racing, which is nowhere near a 5-figure number, definitely it's something worthwhile investing in to make you not more approachable, but more confident and more resourceful with your sponsorship hunt, making businesses want you, not the other way around. So good luck, but hit the link. Use the discount code. It'd be well worth it.
Definitely.
Well, there we go. And now, Nicholas, last thing on the agenda, which isn't actually in the script, but it was something discussed today, wasn't it?
I don't know. Was it? What did we discuss today?
Awards.
Oh yeah.
Dickhead.
You kind of threw that at me then. I don't know. So yeah, we are going to be, obviously it's September now. Woo! We're hoping before the end of the year's out, we're going to actually launch a Club Racing UK awards ceremony. I was thinking something along the lines of 10, 15 different awards for different things. Best driver, best turned out car, best series, best save, best crash, you name it. We're going to launch an awards ceremony for the club racer, and that's for the club racer, not any old racer. Autosport. So
are you on about Autosport when they do an award for National Series of the Year and it turns out to be something in Giannetta's
or Ash Sutton or something like that? Yeah. So we're actually going to be launching an awards ceremony for our fellow club racers. So we've not quite nailed down every single award yet, but we've got most of them there. So keep your eyes peeled. When they are fully up, we will launch them, and it's going to be voted by you guys. We're not going to be biased. We're going to put it to the masses and let you guys fight it out amongst yourselves. Who's got the best looking car? Who's got the best looking series? Who did the best save? Etc. Etc. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, guys. What's that, Robert?
I thought there was going to be one award that was voted for by the podcast.
Oh, maybe we'll vote for one.
I don't know. We'll sort some out.
We'll see.
Anyway,
I've just got to pop back to a comment, Rob.
Okay.
So Megan Edwards said the Uncle Luke's sticker shop that they've done a load of Marshall stickers to give them a big shout out. Give them a big shout out. But they also are the ones sorting out all the T-shirts and stickers for us. So,
100%.
Which they're doing at cost for us to make sure that we're maximising profits to give to the Marshals. So, yes, a massive 100%. Shout out to Uncle Luke. Thank you very much.
There we go, guys. So that just leaves it now. Any other business?
I don't think so, Rob. I think I've got it all in there.
I think we've got it all in there.
Everything in there, just under 2 hours.
I think so. Almost.
These shows are like 2 hours long now.
I know. Well,
the last one wasn't, but
no, it wasn't. But I did hope
it's because we got bored of listening to What's His Chops. What's his name?
Mr. Griffiths.
That's him. The one that
that's good. to be fair, Nicholas, it was probably because he was mainly giving you shit.
I love that guy. It was funny.
Well, hopefully today, boys and girls, and all our listeners on the audio version of this, which will be coming out soon, that we gave you something quite informative today with having Chris Pratt on the show to talk about how to set your race car up in the wet. Something different. Yes, Stefan.
I forgot. If you're buying a motorsport drinks bottle, use discount code CRUK.
Anyone would think you're an electrician with all these plugs.
I know.
I'm just helping the people save money. That's all I'm doing.
Helping the people. That's all we're about.
Helping the people.
There we go. Last few comments. Great show, guys, from Patrick Steele, James Stone Street. Thanks again, guys. Great show as always. Thank you very much
for watching.
Hold on, just before we sign out, if Patrick's still watching, are we talking about that race start at Silverstone the other day, or are we completely ignoring it?
He did say in the comments he's okay to. What did he say?
He did say he's okay too. I'm still a bit on the fence.
Maybe we bring back we'll have class of 2020 ambassadors back, and then we'll discuss it then.
I think we will have to sort a show out anyway. But yes,
I think
anyway.
To be fair, it's quite a topical discussion, that start.
Yeah.
I think that's a discussion that's part of a wider discussion I keep getting badgered about doing at some point, but I'll leave that.
What would that be about, Rob? What would that be about, Rob?
It would be about driving standards this year, circuit standards, safety standards. It's all I'm getting messages about at the moment. I'm sure we will sort something.
That sounds like a good chat. A really positive, fun chat.
Hold on a minute.
It's at 6 o'clock instead of 8 if you get on that subject.
I was going to say.
Do you know what? I can't quite find my can of worms.
You would need an oil barrel of worms for that. Anyway, as we hit the 2-hour mark, ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host of the Club Racing UK podcast, Robert Lewis. My colleagues beside me, Stefan Marsh and Nicholas Holmes of Club Racing UK. Joining us today, Darren S. Cook of Scruffy Bear Pictures and Rags to Racetrack, and Chris Pratt of All Square Wrap and Ride. Thank you for joining us. Pop again in 3 weeks on the 22nd for our next episode. Good night, everyone.
Peace out.